Let's bring on Jim Jackson, 14 years in the NBA. Drafted first rounder, fourth pick. All right, let's talk about Windhorse article. You know Brian. Brian knows his stuff. He talks about the LeBron fatigue. Do you buy some of that?
I do, and I like to focus on the first two because the three, I'm going to take the third one all day long because
you'll take
that means I'm in championships and I'm winning. That means, and we're making a lot of money. But I think the first two are short-term solutions that create a long-term problem.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Because now you're requiring older veteran players to try to win today. But that doesn't help me in the future down the road because I'm strapped.
So, now, Jim, this is interesting, and I really want your perspective on this. For the last 15 years, I would take all the crap with LeBron. This now, as he goes into his 16th year, is the first time I'd probably want him, but I would pause, and I'm going to give you two teams.
Okay.
If I could get Kawhi and Paul George in Los Angeles with Brandon, with Kuzma, with Lonzo, I'm going to get them for longer, and those guys don't talk. I'm not sure I'd take him over LeBron. You ran the Lakers today. Kawhi, Paul George, or LeBron, Paul George? Let's go back. Remember, you just talked about developing young players. Does LeBron overwhelm Lonzo, Kuzma, Ingram? What would you do?
Yes, and I'm taking LeBron.
Okay.
I mean, because it's the Lakers. Because we're talking about Showtime. We're talking about L.A. We're talking about being able to get a championship or compete today. Okay? So if it's another team that wants to build, I get it. But for the Lakers and where they're at.
So the Lakers, it works. Now let's transition to Philadelphia, where I have two legitimate stars.
I wouldn't do it.
Feels like Ben Simmons is LeBron light. See, I agree with you.
I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't either.
I would take Paul George or Kawhi in a heartbeat. More so Paul George because he can catch and shoot. He can run the pick and roll a lot better than Kawhi can. And like I said before, we talked about this and I brought it up with you, Colin. Imagine guarding Paul George and Joel Embiid on the wing on the pick and roll. What do? It's tough. And plus, you got a pass-first centric point guard and Ben Simmons who's going to get better. So if I'm Philly, you know what's ironic is back up. 30 teams in the league. And LeBron, they would love to have LeBron, but LeBron is not for all 30 teams.
No, first of all, Golden State, pass.
No.
I think Boston,
pass.
By the way, Philadelphia, you and I agree, pass.
San Antonio, pass.
Okay. So 4 of the 5 best teams. So this goes, again, if you're desperate or needy, LeBron's a yes. Or if you're the Lakers, young and really not a playoff team. But you notice the teams we mentioned, no thanks, they're not desperate.
They're not desperate.
They've got a game plan. So I think 2 years ago, Jim, every team in the league, including Golden State, would have taken
LeBron all day long.
The top 5 teams now are like, no. And I think, by the way, I agree with you on Philadelphia. I don't think he's there. I think they think he's a magic elixir to solve everything. I think he creates some stress. So let's go to that. I said earlier that as we fall in love with point guard, it used to be a centers league.
Yep.
Kareem and Wilt and Shaq. Now it's a point guard league because you can't hand check. And they're the little fast guys on the court, and they're fun as hell to watch.
Yeah.
But I've always argued I want my players 6'5" to 6'11". By the way, Kyrie's hurt.
Yeah.
Last year, Westbrook imploded out of gas. Derrick Rose, career, injuries. Steph hurt. So when I watch Steph in these first 2 games, I mean, what are your old? I mean, I love Steph.
Me too. Yeah.
But if I'm Bob Myers today, next 5 years, choose a guy. I'm choosing KD.
Well, and that's why KD made the perfect sense to come over long term because here's the issue. When you're talking about building around a point guard, it's always difficult because there are a lot of ways that you can take a point guard out of play in regards to being effective. I go back to the Cleveland series a couple years ago when Cleveland beat Golden State. How did they beat them? It was Iman Shumpert. It was J.R. Smith roughing up Steph. Okay, it was kind of roughing him up. He still averaged about 23, but he wasn't as effective. And the reason why, it's off-the-ball defense. I can be more physical with Steph. I can get him out of spots. Kevin Durant, I can move him at the free throw line. I can put him in the post. I can put him in the mid-post. I can create ways for him to still be effective. With a point guard, I can trap and get the ball out of his hands. It's done. I can push him out and be more physical. It's done. And that happens with Kyrie at times, and it happens more than likely with Steph. But he's in a situation with Golden State that even if he doesn't play well, it's masked a lot because of the other talented players. But I wouldn't hitch my wagon to a point guard to be my franchise player. I just wouldn't do it as a GM.
Since 1991, there's been 2 MVPs in the finals that are point guards.
Yeah.
They're just smaller players. And in Kyrie and Steph, it's funny. When they got rid of the hand check, people thought the hand check made the league too physical and ugly. Mm-hmm. I'll go the opposite way. When you took out the hand check, it allowed little players to get to the basket.
Oh, big time.
And get hit by bigger players.
Well, now they got to finish at the rim. Now the lane opens up because of three-point shooting and the hand checking out front, but now you're forcing the guys to get in. That's where those floaters and off the rim and the pull-up jump shots come into effect. But it's an adverse reaction, too, because now guys are getting hit. You don't really see it. You say it's not as physical. But there was some times last night when, Steph was going to the basket.
Oh, God, he got clobbered.
Oh, he got clobbered a couple times. And, again, but how about giving Houston a lot of credit? It's not. Listen, Jeff Bezdilik that went over to Houston from Denver from a defensive perspective. This is what we're going to do with Steph. We're going to force him to play defense, but we're going to be so physical with him away from the ball that when he gets it, he doesn't have the space to create to do what Steph does. And you got to give them a lot of credit because you have multiple guys, from Trevor Ariza to Eric Gordon to Chris Paul, who are physical that push Steph around a lot. So it is schematically an adjustment they did make.
Yeah, no, I think there's really no way to stop LeBron and Kevin Durant.
No, forget about it.
Forget about it. Most of these point guards, Westbrook, make him shoot threes. Mm-hmm. Did you notice this? Westbrook struggled against Utah all year. Why? Because he couldn't finish at the rim with Gobert.
Oh, Gobert, yeah.
And then they say, all right, we're going to run you. We're going to let you shoot threes. Mm-hmm. And Westbrook had numbers. There are ways Derrick Rose and John Wall, not elite shooters, block the paint, force them to shoot jumpers. There is no way to stop. Generally, Shaq couldn't be stopped. Kevin Durant really can't be stopped. And I just think it's easier to defend the little guy in this league over the big guy. Now, I want to shift to this.
Okay.
That sometimes, I made this argument to start the show. I look at certain stats every game. In football, I look at the third down conversion rate. And gamblers do. If you're good on third down, it usually means a couple of things. That you got a quarterback that makes good decisions at the line of scrimmage. You have a good offensive line. You're good situationally. Good teams. If you go look at the top 10 third down conversion teams, 8 every year make the playoffs. In the NBA, I look at rebounds. Because rebounds take effort. If you're under the glass getting a defensive rebound, you're not going to score on the other end.
Right.
Last night, Houston dominates the glass. You know what that tells me? Golden State didn't bring it.
Well, yeah. I think you look at it from a rebounding perspective. You say, well, the shots came off. They did a great job of not allowing Golden State to get second shots. But I want to pull up something else in regards to some stats that may not jump out, but it's a meaning behind it. If we can pull them up real quick, I'll put them together.
I didn't know Jim Jackson brought some stats.
I did some stats. Look at game 1 to game 2. Shots under 5 on the shot clock. Not a big difference, 17 to 11.
Right.
Wide open three-point attempts, 13 to 14. And assists on made field goals. Not big differences.
Okay.
The big difference, Colin, is the decision-making to attack right away from Houston was the big difference. Off the pass. They put Golden State on their heels. So those open shots they got now, it was quick reactions. So Golden State is so accustomed to getting you to be a second and a half behind that you're trailing the whole time. That's what we saw with Golden State on defense. Houston made a concerted effort that when the ball swung around, we're going to attack right away. We're going to go. Yeah, it was one-on-one at times, but because their quick movement, because they attacked right away, Golden State was always behind. It put them on their heels. So, yes, they were desperate, but give Houston credit offensively to say, we're going to attack Golden State off that pass. We're going to move the ball. The ball was hopping. Body language totally different. That's what gave them the advantage, I thought, in the second game and why they were able to catch rhythm shots because the ball was moving a lot quicker.
Good to see you, man. You're breaking down the game, bringing in analytics.
Come on, man. You know what? Listen, I feel good because yesterday I went golfing, shot a 79. I feel good about myself right now.
Yeah, but there was windmills on that course. Those guys get 50. Good for you.
All right.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.